Hare Krishna, dear friends. This is another episode of the daily Bhagavatam Muro. We are reading again from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, today again the topic is the tongue, controlling the tongue. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktiya Bhavati Naishtiki. So, dear friends, this is another episode of the daily Bhagavatam Mirror. We are reading from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Text number, I guess, 21 of the 8th chapter, the story of Pingala. So again, this is about controlling our tongue. The Sanskrit goes like Tavach chitendriyo nasyat chititanyendriya puman najayet rasunang yavach chitam sarvam jite rase. Although one may conquer all of the other senses, as long as the tongue is not conquered, it cannot be said that one has controlled his senses. However, if one is able to control the tongue, then one is understood to be in full control of all the senses. Purport. By eating, one gives energy and activity to all of the senses, and thus if the tongue is uncontrolled, all of the senses will be dragged down to the material platform of existence. Therefore, by all means, one must control the tongue. If one fasts, then all of the other senses become weak and lose their potency. The tongue, however, becomes more greedy to taste delicious preparations, and when one finally indulges the tongue, all of the senses quickly go out of control. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur advises that one accepts Mahaprasadam, or the remnants of the Lord's food, in a moderate proportion. Since the tongue's function is also to vibrate, one should vibrate the glorious holy name of the Supreme Lord and taste the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Rasa Varjam Raso Pyasya Parang Drishtva Nivartate, only by the higher taste of Krishna consciousness can one give up the deadly lower taste that keeps one imprisoned in material bondage. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that as long as one's intelligence is materially covered, one cannot understand the pleasure of Krishna consciousness. Trying to enjoy without Krishna, the living entity leaves the abode of the Supreme Lord called Vrajabhumi and comes down into the material world, where he quickly loses control of his senses. One becomes particularly victimized by the tongue, belly and genitals, which exert intolerable pressure on the conditioned soul. These desires subside, however, when one re-establishes one's blissful relationship with the Lord, who is actually the reservoir of all pleasure. One who is attached to the taste of Krishna consciousness automatically follows all of the rules and regulations of religious life due to spontaneous attraction to Vishuddha Sattva, or the mode of pure goodness. Without such spontaneous attraction, one is certainly bewildered by the pushing of the material senses. Even the beginning stage of devotional service, called sadhana bhakti, regulatory practice, is so powerful that it brings one to the platform of arnata nivritti, where one becomes free from unwanted sinful habits and gains relief from the pressure of the tongue, belly, and genitals. Thus, one is delivered from the bondage of material addiction and can no longer be cheated by the allurements of the material energy. As it is said, all that glitters is not gold. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that we consider the following song written by his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sharira avidya jal, judendriya thai kal. I will sing it. Sharira avidya jal, judendriya thai kal, jivipile vishaya sakure, tamadye jivati, lobamoy sudurmati. Takijeta kotina sangsare, Krishna boda doyamoy, korebad jiva joy, svat prasad nanadilabai, seyanamrita pao, rata Krishna gunagao, premidako chaitanya nitai. And here's the translation of that song. O Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths to death. Somehow we have fallen into this ocean of material sense enjoyment, and of all the senses the tongue is most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But you, dear Krishna, are very kind to us and have given us such nice prasadam just to control the tongue. Now we take this prasadam to our full satisfaction and glorify their lordships, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, and in love call for their help, call for the help of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. This is the purport, quite a long purport. Again the verse, although one may conquer all of the other senses, as long as the tongue is not conquered, it cannot be said that one has controlled his senses. However, if one is able to control the tongue, then one is understood to be in full control of all the senses. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, yes, again here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, controlling the tongue is the topic. And we see that this chapter has dedicated quite a couple of verses to the topic of controlling the tongue, and that means that this is quite important. So it is clearly stated here that as long as we are not able to control our tongue, then all our other senses, like the sense of seeing, the sense of hearing, the sense of smelling, and the sense of touching, all these senses are difficult to control. How is it? So maybe we all have experienced to have a fast. We fasted a whole day, or we had some program, let's say 1 week of fasting, certain things. Then our tongue becomes more greedy. At least in my case, when I start fasting, I start thinking, oh, I could eat this, I could eat the other thing, and my whole thinking circles around tasting something delicious. So it is a fact that all our other senses become more weak when we fast. Yes, our body becomes weaker and we are not that active. We know this, for instance, when we are sick. When we are sick and we lie in bed, then all our senses become weak. So, but then when we come again to strength and we start eating, then it only takes sometimes minutes that all other senses become very, very demanding and very pushing. We want again to be active. We want to see beautiful things. We want to listen to nice sounds. We want to smell nice aroma. We want to touch soft, pleasant textures, and so on and so forth. So that means when we feed the sense of taste, then automatically we also feed our other senses. So this is very important to know, and especially there are three elements in a row: the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. This is a line. So when we eat, then our belly becomes packed, it becomes full, and it creates pressure to our genitals. So therefore it is quite important for people who want to have a sober, clear mind and want to be on the spiritual platform, that these people are aware of what they eat, because as soon as there is a lot of pressure on our genitals, then our thinking circles around sexual activities. And the more our mind is occupied by sexual thoughts, it is difficult to think about spiritual, transcendental things, like, for instance, God and our relationship to God. It becomes more difficult. So, therefore, as we hear in this purport, all the great acharyas, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they have recommended that we should develop the higher taste, a higher taste. We can, in German we say, sublimieren. We cannot restrict our senses from being active. Our senses, they want to be active. We cannot say to our senses, stop being active, stop tasting, stop smelling, stop hearing, stop looking, and stop touching. This is not possible. Many big yogis in the Himalayas, they have tried to stop their sensual activities, but there are lots of stories also in the Srimad Bhagavatam where these yogis failed in their attempts. So these great acharyas like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they have recommended that we elevate ourselves to the platform of Krishna consciousness and experience a higher taste. And by this higher taste, it is very easy to give up the lower taste. So imagine you have two hands full of rocks, ugly black rocks, but somehow you think these black rocks are beautiful and I want to keep those rocks. And then suddenly someone comes with a nice apple pie, apple cake, very hot and aromatic hot apple pie. So, and he asked us, do you like to get this apple pie? And we see this apple pie and we think, wow, this is a very, very tasty cake. I really want to eat that. But alas, my hands are full of these black, ugly rocks. So I cannot take the apple pie. But no, actually we would immediately drop these black rocks in order to get this tasty apple pie. So we get a higher taste in exchange for the lower taste. So then this is very, very easy. And in the same way, when we experience a higher spiritual experience, a higher spiritual taste, param drishtva nivartate, then we do not even think about the lower taste. So this is a very important instruction. So the art is that we constantly try to elevate ourselves on this higher spiritual platform. And that is the process of Krishna consciousness. We have a whole process. It starts in the morning. For instance, serious practitioners of spiritual life, they try to rise early in the morning. The best is so early that all other materialists, they are still sleeping, because then the atmosphere is very pure. So, for instance, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we have 1 or 2 hours that are very peaceful and very calm, and we can practice some spiritual meditation. For instance, we in the Krishna consciousness process, we have this beads here, and we chant every morning on these beads. We chant the so-called Hare Krishna Maha-Mantra. This we call mantra meditation. I will give you a short display. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then we move on to the next beat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this we are doing for a couple of minutes. Some of us, we do it for 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours. And by this our mind becomes filled with the transcendental vibration of the holy name. And that is what the tongue should do, or is doing. The tongue does 2 things. One is tasting food, and the other one is vibrating sound. So both activities we cannot stop. We cannot stop by any means. We have to eat, and we have to say things. We have to talk. So the remedy or the process of purifying, spiritualizing our tongue is by chanting the holy name of God. You can take any names of God. You can take a Christian name, or an Islamic name, or a Jewish name of God, or whatever religions are out there. Or you can take a Vedic name. We use a Vedic name, Krishna. And the translation of the word or name Krishna is the person who is all attractive. That is the meaning of Krishna. We can also use other Vedic names like Vishnu, the all-pervasive one, or Govinda, the Lord of the senses and the cows. So by vibrating, by praising, chanting the holy name of God in whatever language and in whatever religion, our tongue, our tendency of vibrating sound becomes spiritualized and purified. And we are not anymore eager to chant material sounds. So this is one way, or one part of the process. And the other one is, that is also explained here in the purport, is that we cook and prepare food with love and devotion, and then afterwards we are offering this food in front, for instance, of a picture of Krishna. And again, if you are from another religion, you can also take another picture of Lord Jesus, and so on and so forth. So, and then we let Krishna, or God, we let him taste first, and thus this food becomes spiritualized. When God looks on our food that we have prepared with love and devotion, when he glances on that food, what to speak of tasting, there are rare cases in the history of the Vaishnava tradition where Krishna stepped down from the altar and actually tasted the food. So then this food becomes spiritualized and purified from all karma, from all karmic sinful reaction. And then those people who eat this prasadam, this is called then prasadam, the mercy of the Lord, they make actually spiritual progress. They are not only free from sins and karma. No, they even make substantial spiritual progress. So when we do these, especially these 2 things seriously, chanting and praising the holy name of God in whatever language, in whatever religion, and offer vegetarian food to God and taste them afterwards and distribute it to our friends and family, then we become free from the pushings and urges of our senses that always try to drag us down into the material consciousness, as it is stated here. So let us take advantage of this nice process of Krishna consciousness. If you have any questions about this topic, maybe here on Facebook or later on YouTube, I will upload all these sessions on YouTube. The channel is called Krishna West in Germany, and then we can also discuss later. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to write something here or give me some sign that you are there. Otherwise, I conclude this session. See you later, maybe tomorrow. Hare Krishna.